Good morning. I am excited to try something new this morning, and a friend suggested that I do a few short YouTube videos to just practice being in front of the camera a little bit, since it looks like a lot of the guilds are going to be going to Zoom meetings. A lot of you are already doing Zoom meetings. So I thought today I would talk to you about what I consider to be a humble quilt and how I really just embrace the humble quilt philosophy for me. So here's an old quilt that I have. And as you can see, it's just a fun, scrappy quilt that it's so wonderful to see the different, all the different fabrics that was used. And then just to think like, were they somebody's dresses? Were they somebody's aprons? Were they grandmother's aprons? And it's super, super charming. But you know, look, this is supposed to be a cornerstone. I'll come in a little bit. Yeah, that doesn't meet at all. And some of the fabric that was used in here, like this, I mean, we would think like, nope, gotta have more contrast. But for me, it just feels like I have to come in for a closer look. Here's another one with very little contrast, although as you can see, it really is a 9-patch still. So those are just a few characters that I consider humble quilts that I embrace and I love. It's not about perfection for me. That's not why I do it. I don't really enter my quilts in shows, although I am having 3 quilts sent back to me from Texas. And so I thought I'd just show you a couple of examples. Sometimes it's what do you call it? The mother of creativity or whatever. You have to do it because you run out of fabric. Or sometimes you think you have this great idea and the great idea just does not work out. So anyway, this is just one simple quilt that I picked up today. If you look in almost any old antique quilt, there's some type of quirky make do, and it's just the way that they did, and that's what I like to embrace. So anyway, I've got a few of my examples that I thought I would show you, and I do share these at some of my guild meetings. So this one was just a fun string quilt that I started in a Gwen Marston class, and borders are just not my forte. Sewing those long borders on, sometimes, you know, they get wobbly. You're going over, you know, it's like just trying to keep them 1/4 inch, keep them pretty accurate. So I thought, hey, I think what I will do is I will just put the 2 fabrics together first, and then I'll just sew it on the quilt. Well, I don't know what I was thinking, but this was how my corner turned out, and that was not intentional. So after I did it, I was like, oh, well, that isn't quite the way I wanted it to look, but I embraced it and I just left it the way it was. And as a matter of fact, I just did another quilt that I did that way on purpose, just because I like that it is a little bit unusual. So anyway, so for me, that's just another kind of a humble quilt moment, especially when I do it on accident, which I do. It doesn't matter how great I set everything out on my design wall. From my design wall to my sewing room or my sewing machine, sometimes things just get mixed up. So this was one that I appliqued, another string quilt. And after it was appliqued and quilted, I realized that these should have been in the corner like an 8-pointed star. It should be, I should have set it in here differently. So it should have a white corner. And if you don't understand that, then you can just look, actually it should go this way on the square. So anyway, but there wasn't anything I was gonna do about it. I wasn't gonna change it. It was already appliqued, it was already quilted. These were old paper piece blocks that were given to me, and I made 2 quilts, and the person that shared these blocks with me, I actually sent her back a quilt, a little quilt just like this, so we have matching pairs of quilts. The next one, I actually ran out of this blue Lancaster fabric. So I found that it was still like a Lancaster blue, and it was even in the same line of fabric, but it's just a little bit different. So it adds just a little bit of charm, and it's okay to just put something close. No one would probably even notice that unless I was to say it. And because these were blocks from a special friend's quilt room after she passed away, I kind of feel like this one little block down here that's different is her looking down on me, showing her thumbs up that she approves. So, and then 2 more to go here. This I did, it was the most boring quilt to make. Did it with friends, and only after I got the complete top done, I may have even had it quilted, did I realize that this right here is going the wrong direction. And I have a feeling it was probably the top. And by then I was so over it. So I thought, nope, I'm just gonna leave it in there. And the thing that's funny is I didn't notice it the whole time I was working on it. Laying out the blocks, sewing it together, putting them in. It's just one block that's turned. And only when I set it out and I took a picture did I actually notice that it had that error in it. And it was like, ba-boom! It was a glaring error. So anyway, yeah, I just thought, okay, I'm gonna leave it there. That's just the way I roll. That's just the way I work. So that's another like little humble aspect. And then sometimes you can use the little humble quilts or the little like orphan blocks in another project. So I do believe that this may have been a quilt block, the center for Dear Jane quilt maybe. But as you can see, I didn't get the 2 colors alternating properly. So it kind of got thrown in the orphan bin. And when I saw a little quilt similar to this online, I pulled that one out, and it fits and suits this type of quilt just perfectly. So anyway, keep those orphan blocks or give them to your friends if you know you're never going to use them. But see how cute that is? And I could still like appreciate this funny little error block, which I just call it's just a humble little block. So anyway, that is just a small example of the way that I try and embrace humble quilts. So I hope if you're one of those people who is a perfectionist, that you are enjoying the process. For me, I enjoy the process. I enjoy making quilts, and I don't enjoy ripping stuff out unless it's, I mean, I'll do it depending on what the problem is with it. Especially if it's a ripply border or if it's something to do with construction that way, I do want to make it right. Although if you have quilted for me, you know that my quilts are a little bit crazy. So anyway, I just wanted to come to you today, practice, give me any helpful tips that you have learned from Zoom or live video, yeah, I'd love to hear your tips. And if you have constructive criticism on this video, feel free to leave it to me or email it to me, because I am trying to just work this out. This may be something new I do for the next few weeks, maybe once every 2 weeks or so. If you have any questions about those particular quilts that I showed you, feel free to ask. None of them have patterns, so don't ask about a pattern. I kind of make up names for them, but there is no like officially printed pattern that a designer has made. Some of them are on my Pinterest. If I have kind of easy directions, I'll post that. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed something a little bit different today. Take care, and I hope you are having a wonderful Wednesday.